All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We're just a bunch of Kiss fans and we talk Kiss. So come along for the ride. You've got nothing to lose.
I think our attitude now is if there's people that want ballads and if they want to hear us play a ballad, well, it's not above us or below us to do it. Obviously, we're capable of doing it because there's another one on this album.
All right, welcome to Kissy Weeps, the greatest Kiss ballad.
Oh,
yeah. So we'll get into that topic in a minute. News for the week is Ken's dropped another one of his Ken's Vinyl Minutes episodes, and it was actually a milestone. So Ken, we're not worthy. That was the 1,000th video on the KissFAQ channel.
Was it?
Yeah.
1,000. I wasted the 1,000 on that.
So you're the man of 1,000 videos. So there we go.
I like how you did that.
Also dropping this week was another Song Stories episode, Calling Dr. Love. And as I said previously, I went back and saw that I'd missed a few last year. And while just going back through the notes for that one, I saw that I'd missed one other. So there'll be one more of those while I catch up and I want to just leave everything nice and neat at the end of everything and not leave anything undone that I'd already kind of written. So we'll probably record that one tomorrow morning. So maybe it'll be out Monday. All right. Ken, you're styling a new shirt. Tell us about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, this week. So this year's new, Kiss Army shirt. You know, if you join the whatever army, you get the shirt here, which is pretty good. Actually, it's one of the better shirts that they've done, I think. Most of them have been pretty,
Did they have to use the destroyer image?
Well, it is a 50-year anniversary mark of it. It's kind of a mix, right? Destroyer and no, I think this is what they should have been doing.
It's a hybrid of both.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It is a hybrid of both. So that's why I think they did a great job. That was a great idea, and then they should have been doing that the other years too.
All right, I'll start on a positive note. I think it looks good.
Anniversaries. So I'm happy with it. It's not a junky shirt.
All right. So our episode today is ballads and Kiss's ballads specifically. And while you can look at the definition of what a ballad is, like any definition, there's a lot of subjectivity that comes into play when what people think of a ballad. And a lot of it comes down to when you grew up and your exposure to music and a certain sort of music. For me, in the 1980s, ballads were very much tied in with the power ballad format because that was what I was predominantly hearing. Sure, I heard Beatles ballads, but I didn't really think of those in that word. So the definition is very loosey-goosey. There's a flexibility to the interpretation, which is probably why Lonnie picked Unholy as his number one Kiss ballad.
Who knew there were 11 ballads on Revenge?
Yeah, I mean, we learn something new every day. So, Lonnie, how do you approach the topic for picking your ballads? What is the sorts of things that go into your definition of what a Kiss ballad is?
Well, in all seriousness, I looked at, I guess a ballad is a love song type of thing. It's kind of a little mushy type of song, slower. I guess you start with the slower tempos, and you look at lyrics and look at meaning and what message I guess we're trying to get across. Are we brokenhearted? Are we trying to, portray thoughts to I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at is lyrically and melodically. Is it slower? And are we trying to, generate some romantic thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go across the world to Scandinavia. Daniel, how do you look at a ballad?
I think I piggyback off of Lonnie. I think he put it perfectly when he said it like that. It's about feelings most of the time, slow songs. Also, the singing is often very, very good. it was a way, at least in the 80s, to get the other half of the population to listen to metal. And it worked pretty well there in the 80s. So, but most of my picks, I think, well, I have some from the 80s, but there are some from the 70s as well. But I think Lonnie said it very well.
Yeah, power ballad nearly became mandatory in the 1980s to get radio airplay. So, Mark, it'd be interesting to hear your take on ballads.
Well, I mean, I think what Lonnie and Daniel both said are very valid points. I mean, usually they're slow songs based lyrically a lot around love. And of course, also based around loss is also another topic that can be there, whether it's, it doesn't have to necessarily be just love, but some sort of a loss as well. But, the power ballad, as you said, Julian, became a very important thing for bands in the 80s, because if you look at most band releases, they had the big single, the first one coming out of the gate, and then usually the second one was the power ballad that came out next to kind of, as Daniel said, reel in the other half of the demographic and hope that they'll start buying the albums, like when Hysteria came out or Love Bites or something like that, from when those records were big singles in that area, right? So they were important songs there. Even Kiss didn't stray from that. Reason to Live and stuff like that were singles that were put out as well to help boost the sales of an album. So the ballad was very important from that way. Probably more important to the record labels than it was to some of the artists. I know that some of them rolled their eyes when they were asked to do them, but they realized that if they wanted to play ball with some of these record labels, they had to do it, right? So, but so there are good ones and there are bad ones, just like everything else.
Yep. Ken, coming from the 70s, do you have a different take on it, or are you just going to defer to letting Lonnie do the homework?
Oh, no. I mean, Lonnie is correct, but there is more to it. It's not just about love. It's telling a story. So it doesn't always have to be. It can be a love. It can be about growing up. Some song about growing up. It could be a ballad. There's that one song from Billy Joel, the Ballad of Billy the Kid. There's all kinds of songs that are like that. But yeah, generally they are usually. I never heard a rocking ballad. So the hardest rocking ballads are the power ballads. So that's as far as it goes. But usually it's a mellower song, a slower song, like Lonnie was saying.
Here's something I just thought of. I mean, if you have to think of a ballad that's your favorite from any band, excluding Kiss, because we'll talk about those in a minute, who would be your favorite ballad by anyone that you've heard throughout your life? And that's going to be a real tough one.
That's a tough one.
I think for me, potentially Angel by Aerosmith. Yeah. I love that song. Or Ballad of John and Yoko. Anyone got one that immediately pops to mind?
Ha! It's tough. I mean, there's so many great ones by so many artists. So it's just
here's a couple of good ones. Max with Still in Love with You, Thin Lizzy. Y&T. Wow.
Well, so there's one that comes to mind, but it's only not so much because of the lyrics or stuff like that. But I love the guitar playing in it by John Sykes. Is This Love from the 87 record? I love the guitar playing in that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Again, we were spoiled for choice in the 80s and 90s, so there's a ton. So for doing Kissy Weeps, one thing we decided was we're going to exclude the solo albums, even though they're definitively Kiss albums. And that's not to take I Can't Stop the Rain from winning this competition and slaughtering all other choices. But, Gene's got a few on his, See You Tonight, Mr. Make Believe, which Chris mentioned. And, of course, there's Hold Me, Touch Me. So we're not really losing a whole lot. So why don't we get into some of the songs that were mentioned in the thread? I mean, Thrills in the Night, Magic Touch, Tears Are Falling, I Finally Found My Way to You, Nothing Can Keep Me From You. Did any of those enter any of your equations and get bumped off the list that you provided?
Not at all.
I don't know. No.
I don't think
No.
so.
Just a whole bunch of shaking
Yeah, I
heads
don't
there.
think those.
No. Not the ones that you mentioned.
All right, so then let's get into our outcast. So everyone gave me 10, and
Someone's hammering there.
yeah, I got
Carpentry
fucking
going on.
construction going on upstairs.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah,
It's you.
yeah.
Host.
There's going to be nothing I can do about it other than
That's
mute out.
okay.
So- all right,
It's
so let's
some
go.
bad drumming.
Yeah, so the outcasts that didn't make our list, and they were generally ones that only one person voted for. So here's your opportunity to defend your choices. Lonnie, 2 of yours, you were the only one to pick, and it wasn't unholy. It was Shandy, and then
Oh, Shandy.
then She Kissed Me. So why did those make your list?
I thought then she kissed me. I put it like number 10. It wasn't like I had it like ranked super high. I think it's still good. I know it gets a lot of flack, but it's it's not bad. It's not a bad ballad, and Shandy's fine too. It was decent. I'm surprised I'm the only one that picked Shandy. I didn't have it real high either. Neither one of those I had real high on my lists. But I was looking at some of the other choices. I'm like, I don't know if I consider that really a ballad. I think because I think we all have our own interpretation a little bit. I think that we're all going to have a little interpretation of like or like really how is that on the list? I think we're all going to have a little bit of that as we go along. So I was thinking about what's really about. Like I'm sure that we're going to get there, but I don't think that that's a ballad. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with Then She Kissed Me, because I don't consider this song really a ballad or qualifying for this list. So that's why maybe Then She Kissed Me kind of rounded out, because I was kind of like, how am I going to round out my 10th one here?
Ditto See You Tonight, which of course appears on MTV Unplugged, which gives us a latitude. Who picked that? Yeah, figures.
That's cheating, Ken. That doesn't count. That's cheating.
What's not cheating?
Yeah, it's a
You said
solo
nothing-
song.
No,
Right, it's a solo
I took
song.
it from Unplugged.
Oh,
Oh,
bullshit.
come on.
It's the Unplugged version.
All right, so why did
I
that
think
make
it's a
your
great
list?
song. So what was
That's
that?
it. I think it's a great song. That's your only justification.
It's a good song. I've always loved it. It's one of my favorite Gene ballads. I mean, Gene doesn't do a heck of a lot of ballads. I guess you said it only on his solo album, really, because has he done? Well, he's only done one other song is kind of a ballad, 2 maybe on regular Kiss albums. So I don't know. I think it just needed to be there.
This was an outlier, this next one, because 3 of us actually picked this, and it didn't make the list. Who Wants to Be Lonely? So which one of the Asylum-ites picked it? Oh, wait, no, only one of us picked it. It was
That had to be Daniel.
Yeah, it's only me who picked this.
Oh,
The
really?
other 2 guys who profess to love Asylum did not.
I don't find it a
fat.
ballad to me. I
Too
don't-
Agree.
Too rocky.
You don't think it's a ballad?
No.
No.
It's a
No way.
it's a power ballad.
No,
to
it's
me.
a rocker.
No.
It's a rocker.
Oh,
It's
no,
rocking.
no.
Too rocking.
Not to me. It's more on the ballady than Tears Are Falling. So it makes my list because of the emotional content, rather than being a strictly defined ballad as a ballad by an arbitrary definition. The emotional content of it makes it a ballad in my book. So that's why I picked it, and that's clearly why no one else picked it, because they don't
It's a
think
great
it's
song.
a ballad.
It's a ballad or a rocker.
I
It's
love the song.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, great
That's what it
song.
is.
Right.
Well, I don't think this next song that didn't make the cut is a ballad. God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Is that a ballad?
That.
Yeah. It's a ballad.
That's not
See?
a ballad.
Okay, I'm the only one.
That's the
Well, I
same
think it's-
argument with
Yeah.
the last song.
Yeah, but I think it's nowhere near as fast and riffy as Who Wants to Be Lonely. To me, it's sort of a ballad, but I get your point of not picking this because you think it's too much of a rocker. Maybe it's somewhere in between. Maybe so. I'll accept the fact that it didn't make the list, but had to have it on the list. Great song. Terrible lyrics, but great song.
Also, not making the list was Stand, for anyone thinking that
That's pretty
anything
good.
after. Yeah, that was after
I like that
kind of.
song.
If Paul could sing, it might have been better. but he didn't have the depth and
What
power to deliver what that song deserved.
What ruined it wasn't his voice, it was his ad libs on that song that ruined it for me. Otherwise, I love
Look
that
over
song.
your shoulder.
I love that. Yeah, I love that song. But man, it's like don't do it. Don't do that ad lib.
Lonnie nails it. The ad libs. That was like someone's mom shouting from the porch.
Come home. Come home, Lonnie. It's time for dinner.
The lights are on. Come home.
All right, we're not here to bash things, but fortunately, we ended up with a top 10 with those exclusions. So let's get started with the first of these. 3 people selected "I Will Be There," which only managed to get 5 points. So it came at the bottom of most people's lists here. Ken, right at the bottom of your list.
Yeah, it was 10 on my list. But I think it's a great song, great ballad. The intention was there, loving intention for father to his son, and just really, really nice song. I've always enjoyed that on Carnival of Souls. So yeah, it's a good one. It had to be on the list, I think.
Mark, you had it as well. You actually ranked it the highest, so you really helped it get some points here.
Yeah, because I feel the ones that are under it are far worse, in my opinion. But this song, I find this is the sore thumb song on Carnival. It's like you have all these like down and depressive, like they're trying to give this image of like hate and all these songs, and all of a sudden "I Will Be There." It's like, whoa, where did this come from? Out of nowhere, you have this sort of lighthearted song that comes out of there. I mean, it's good. I mean, on any other album, it probably would have fit perfectly well, but I think on this one, it just kind of, it's like, which one doesn't belong sort of song. But it's okay. I understand the lyrical sentiment in it. And to be quite honest, when we were doing this topic, I was thinking to myself, I have to find 10 good ballads from Kiss. It was more difficult than I thought it was, because there's a lot of real junk to weed through. But, good. There are some good ones too, but those were far and few between, in my opinion.
Yeah, I also had this. It's syrupy, it's sappy, it's sickly, it's sweet. Yeah. But it's executed in a manner the opposite of something like "Hold Me, Touch Me," which I can't stand. It's got the sentimentality that I love. What he's expressing, the emotion to that first child, and it's such a wonderful sentiment that it's powerful, and it had to be on my list. And it's kind of sad that it's so far down because it is special. Lonnie or Daniel, any thoughts on that one?
No, number 11 on my list, so it didn't make it. But I think it should have been more in the vein of something totally acoustically being played, like by the fire. I don't care for the violins and stuff like that. I see Paul Stanley grabbing an acoustic guitar, playing it, and by his side there's Bruce making sort of a forever solo to it. I like the lyrical content as well. I think it's a beautiful content when Paul expresses his love for his firstborn, but I don't care for all those violins and stuff like that. It's like every time I look at you trying to do that one more time, but not doing it as good. So number 11 on my list.
Lonnie, anywhere near your top 10?
No, I don't know. It's a good song, but I don't know if it really does it. When I think of, again, I guess when I go back to my definition of a ballad, when I think of a ballad, I guess I'm thinking more romantic type of song than it is like to a father to his son type of thing. So I don't know. It just didn't fit what I had in my head as my definition of a ballad. So that's why I didn't include it.
All right. Well, 4 of us went with the next one, which automatically jumps up a whole bunch of points. On 13 points, unlucky for some, A World Without Heroes. Ken, get us started on the thoughts about that one.
Yeah, it's it is a mellow song. It's a good song. It's performed well as a ballad. It's more of a sentimental kind of song. I mean, it's more of, a world without heroes, telling the story of what life would be without heroes and that sort of stuff. We all know that story. So it's good. Yeah, it's not a love song. I think originally, probably, Paul had started it and wrote it as some kind of love song, I think, of course. And then Gene got a hold of it and took it, and they changed to him and Lou Reed with the lyrics. So yeah, it's a very nice song. Always enjoyed it.
Mark.
Actually, I didn't rank it too low. I mean, I put it 6th on my list, mainly because it kind of steered away from the whole lovey-dovey angle and was a little bit more about loss in there. I kind of thought that it was a bit stronger lyrically that way. Plus, they had a lot of outside writers. Well, not a lot, but they had extra writers there that probably helped it lyrically as well. But I think even melodically and musically, it's a little bit more interesting than a common ballad in that way, right? Just how they kind of wrote it in those, like the little guitar solo lines and stuff like that. So to me, it was a little bit more interesting than your, standard cut vanilla sort of ballad. So it fared a little bit better than some of the others. And again, you got to keep in mind that what's under this is definitely worse than this song. So that's kind of how I structure my stuff anyways. I mean, I always knew what my number 1 was going to be, and I knew what my number 10 was going to be. And then after that, I just rethought of how I looked at ballads in general.
And I forgot to mention one of your other songs that didn't make the cut for the conversation, Mark. Your 10th ranked "You're All That I Want." I'm surprised. You're the only one who went for that.
That is like, man, just, find the nearest tree and hang me. That's so terrible, that song. God.
But it's on your list?
Yeah.
It's on his list.
But I couldn't find, you know what? This is the thing. Now that you guys mentioned,
I didn't even put it on my list. And I'm a Gene guy.
But here's the thing. Now that you guys mentioned all these other songs, I probably wouldn't even have mentioned this one. But because I totally forgot about Shandy and some of these other songs for some reason. But if I'm gonna mention something, that one came up for some reason. I thought to myself, okay, well, this is definitely going to be the worst one of them because it's terrible. It's a horrendous song. I don't even know why it made it on Unmasked. I mean, that's just a terrible. And I've actually heard people say that this is one of their favorite songs. I'm like, what is these people thinking? Just a very bad song. And oh, God, don't make me talk about it anymore.
Put it on your list.
Well, but like I said, it's only because honestly, I could only think of 10 songs. I couldn't. I didn't. I guess I didn't think of Shandy. I didn't think of some of these other ones.
Wow.
So really, I just came up with 10 songs.
Ever. Okay. All right, Daniel, you had a World Without Heroes as well.
Yeah, and I had it on my list because I like it. I don't pick songs I hate for my top 10 list. But however, I think one of the greatest skills that Gene has is the power to make a slow ballady kind of song heavy and dark. And I think this is one example from Gene. Even though it's a ballad, it's kind of, to me, it's sort of an eerie song with some darkness around it, and he even has done this even better earlier in his career, and that song will be in my top spot later on. So I really love Gene Simmons' way of doing slower songs. Still dark. Paul never managed to do this, but Gene's got that skill.
I love A World Without Heroes. Had to be on my list, not only to make sure that Gene was represented, because it was tough with excluding, the solo album and some of the other songs that are in competition, that has delivered an absolutely gorgeous vocal on there. That may be, just one of his very best vocals, and it's so exquisitely crafted, working off Paul Stanley scraps to develop from what it started as into what it became. So had to be on my list.
Also, Paul Stanley solo. That's pretty neat to have there.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous in execution. It's a really good illustration.
Were we talking about all that I want, or did we just? Or was that?
No, that I want.
We left
I was wondering why are you talking about.
Come on, wake up over there.
I'm wide awake. It's just like,
Is it early in Canada? Maybe it's maybe.
That was only for you to talk about, and
okay, all right.
You kind of took the discussion out of the room with your comments, so it was just agape jaws. Lonnie, any thoughts on the World Without Heroes?
It's a good song. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it, but again, I think I'm back to my definition of a ballad, and for me, it didn't fit my definition. So
you're sticking to your definitions.
That's right. I'm a man of principle, and I'm sticking to it. So it didn't make.
But man, I don't understand on it. How doesn't that fit your mold, so to speak? I mean, it's slow. It's very, soft sung. Why is it not? Is it all because of the content or what?
Because of the content, because of what it's about. Like I consider a ballad more. I guess I consider a ballad a love song, and I don't consider World Without Heroes a love. In my definition,
Gotcha.
So that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, get us started on the next pick, which 3 of us went with, and scoring 16 points in 9th place. Sure knows something. There'll be some debate. I think in the chat, I thought I saw someone earlier saying that Sure Knows Something is not a ballad, but I disagree, and so does Lonnie. Lonnie, Sure Knows Something.
Yeah,
which version?
Dynasty. I just went with the Dynasty version. I mean, the unplugged version is good too, but I'm not here to pick live albums and try to convince people that this is a Kiss song like Ken is over there. So I'm going with Sure Knows Something as off of Dynasty. I looked at this through studio albums, Ken, not live albums. So I have it ranked 5th on my list. I think it's a good song. I think it's definitely a ballad. It's about heartbreak and things like that, things that a lot of people can relate to. And it's a great song. It's very melodic. I loved Sure Knows Something from the first time I heard it. It's a great Kiss ballad.
Yeah, I agree. But I went with the unplugged version for my pick because I cop out and go with the live version just for everything you said against Ken there. I'm guilty of here. And you know why? Because it strips back some of that production sheen from the Dynasty version, and it has so much emotion. Paul was so invested in what he sang that night, and it's really captured throughout. But again, that song, some people say is just a pop song. No, it's got so much emotion for me and my taste that for me and my taste, it's a ballad. So let's see who else also picked this. Is Daniel?
Yeah. I think it's a great song. For me, the first time I saw the video was kind of cool. I like that video, especially that part when the faces came closer to the camera. I don't know if you remember that. It was a cool section in the video.
Yeah.
I like that video, and that made me go back to Dynasty and listen to the song. What stands out for me is I think this is probably one of my favorite bass lines in a ballad by Gene. I love that down, that part. And same goes for my number 1 pick. I think when Gene finds that great melody to play on the bass, it really lifts the ballads, and he sure as hell did it on this song. Great song.
Ken or Mark, didn't make your list. Ken, is it legitimate?
Yeah, it crossed my mind. It fits more into the power ballad, where it's kind of starts slower, and then the big kind of chorus that kicks in for a power ballad. So yeah, it fits, but it crossed my mind, just like Shandy actually was on my list and it fell off my list.
It fits like a glove.
It's like a glove. You're right. That's another ballad.
Which was his number 1 ballad.
That was the number. Yes, that's Daniel's. Anyway, yeah, it's a ballad. Power.
Just real fast. Maggie Touch has been mentioned a few times. That's number 11 on my list as well.
Yeah,
that's a close one.
I love Sure Knows Something. It's like, because I love Dynasty. That whole record is so great. But I've never once thought of this as a power ballad ever. This to me is a total pop song, beginning to end. totally a pop song. I don't know anybody besides you guys who thought of this as a power ballad. Not a one person have I ever heard anyone say that. So I don't know what guys are drinking over there, but over here, there's no such thing as this being in a power ballad, category.
I refuse to live by other people's rules and labels.
Up to interpretation.
A rebel.
Rebel with a cause.
All right. Well, this next one's not going to cause any debate because it was one of the few unanimous picks by this panel, but it's actually pretty shocking that it's this far down the list. 22 points is what every time I look at you managed to garner. Got to start with Lonnie on the revenge track.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got 22 points because I gave it a lot of points. So you guys must have had it all ranked pretty low on your list. I think every time I look at you, it's fantastic. I'm actually shocked that it's this low. I think it's a great song, and I don't think it got the attention that it deserved. I think the band definitely saw it as a follow-up to Forever, and I think the band thought it was going to be a big hit, and it was a flop. And I think they were so shocked by that's why they pulled out the strings on Unplugged to try to give it another go, because I think Paul especially was legitimately shocked that it didn't take off for him. So
he's that way with all his songs, anyway.
For sure. But I agree with Paul on this one. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm shocked by the rest of you that it's so low. Never been so disappointed.
Daniel, just scraped into your list.
Yeah, it made my list. I think it falls short a bit, much like the one on Carnival of Souls, I Will Be There. It was kind of stuck in the Forever mode, even though these two songs are totally different. Every time I look at you and I Will Be There are not power ballads. He should have stripped away the strings and all kind of stuff that wasn't needed and made them, campfire songs. That's just the biggest problem. And they even, brought an orchestra to the Unplugged thing and played with the strings when he had the chance to really do the campfire song. But he totally failed to see that, and he tried to make Forever two times there on Revenge and Carnival of Souls. Unfortunately, because all in all, it's a great song, but it should be played on an acoustic guitar. No strings should be allowed anywhere near this song.
No.
Crap.
Wow.
Mark, you also rated this very highly in your list.
Yes, because unlike the one we were talking about, I Will Be There, this actually fits perfectly on the record. This is a great ballad for that reason. When I think of a ballad, this is what I think of, this song. The song was well written, great lyrics to it. The orchestra totally fits with this song. It gives it that extra dimension of sap that it needs to make it that kind of a ballady. I absolutely think it's brilliant. I think that it fits in every way that it's supposed to. And don't forget, you're talking about a Bob Ezrin produced record here. So of course he loves adding those sorts of things into those songs. I mean, look at the other records he's been involved with. So I definitely think that this.
But Mark, you hate it when he, puts his. You hate when he puts in his, stuff in the songs, but you love it this time around, do you? Mark died. Mark is in shock.
Mark and I in lockstep on this one. That's crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Mark, but
yeah, I think he's got some latency right
got a lot
now. So yeah,
somebody cut those wires up there in Canada.
Yeah, we'll move on to Ken.
Yeah, for me, this song, it was on my list. It was towards the bottom, but I think it's great. I think I did choose the unplugged version, Lonnie, of the song, because I think that one, it tops the album version. I think it was just perfectly produced on Unplugged with the strings, and the strings are what make that song Unplugged. It really does. It just came out so well there. So good song.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's the strings, and it's just the amount of passion and love that Paul put into that on the Unplugged version, which is what gets me. just absolutely stunning, and the emotion hits me every time I watch the rehearsals. He rehearsed the hell out of it. He rehearsed the hell out of it with the strings. Yeah, whether it was the band working in the studio, whether it was working on the sound stage, and then at the performance doing it again gratuitously. Just everything that he punches into that song just comes across. It just ended up far down my list because every other song that kind of gets there just kept bumping some things down. So it's one of my all-time performance favorites from Paul Stanley as a vocalist. So let's move on into seventh place. Again, only 3 of us picked this one, but enough of us got it to give it 23 points. Hard Luck Woman. So let's get started with Hard Luck Woman with Daniel.
Is it doing it again?
Hard Luck Woman is a great song, and of course it features Peter Criss on vocals. His vocals are perfect for a song that tries to convey some sort of romantic feeling. But what a great song, and could have done something if Rod Stewart wanted to do it. I mean, it could have been a hit. I even like it on that terrible thing that they released in '94 called "Kiss My Ass," classic Kiss regrooved with that country singer Garth Brooks. I think it sounds kind of cool, and I like the live performance they did of it on was it Jay Leno or Letterman back in
Jay Leno, I think.
Yeah, I think it was cool with the country singer and having Paul Stanley doing backup vocals. It sounded kind of cool. But the original is, of course, the best with Peter Criss on vocals.
The country singer, Garth Brooks.
What song are we talking about?
The country singer.
Hard Luck Woman. What number
Hard
is
Luck
this?
Woman, Mark.
What number?
No one knows who he is
Julian?
over here.
Julian, what number
No
was
one
this?
cares.
This is number 7. So Lonnie, Hard Luck Woman.
That's 7? You guys are nuts.
Yeah, Ken, you're as surprised as I was with every time I look at you. I'm like, really? But Hard Luck Woman, no, it's great. I have it high on my list. I had it 4 on my list. I think it's absolutely great song. It's I like the sad message it's portraying, and Peter's vocals are awesome. It's a great song. That's absolutely. There was debate, I think, if this was a ballad or not. I think Julian said that it wasn't a ballad.
He did.
I didn't feel it was a ballad.
No.
Okay.
Hater.
Tells a story.
Really? Why isn't it a ballad, Julian?
Yeah.
Because I have fucking hammering in my head.
The Three Stooges upstairs.
Kill the carpenter.
No, I mean, it's kind of weird to think that on the one hand, I say, sure, no, something isn't a pop song, but I think that Hard Luck Woman is more of a pop song. I think if I had a longer list, it would have entered the equation. But, and then again, the quote at the beginning of the show from Paul from the Rock and Roll Over radio special, the Burn special, he's referring to it as a ballad. So without the schmaltz. So it could be. Daniel, did I get you?
Yeah.
Ken?
Hey, Julian, can't you stop listening to your favorite band, The Carpenters, please?
Hey, that Carpenters. Okay, I get it. Okay. Good one.
Like, don't rip on the Carpenters.
So Hard Luck Woman, yeah, it's number 2 on my list actually. I just always loved the song ever since the first time I heard it. I think I heard it first on the radio before I actually had the album. I think I had a K-Tel, one of those K-Tel records that had all the hits of the current time period, and that was on there. And I always loved the song. Great song, great performance by Peter.
All right. Well, there's no hammering in the background. We have our first tie in 6th place.
I didn't get to even say anything. What's going on here?
Oh, Mark. Hard Luck Woman, do it.
You didn't even pick it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't pick it because I totally forgot about it. So you can go on to the next one.
Oh, you totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
On your favorite album.
He likes it so much.
So now you don't want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, it's a great song, but I totally, like I said, it didn't enter. Just the same like Shandy and those. Unfortunately, it would have made my list. I like this song, so.
Yeah, it could have bumped off You're All That I Want.
Yeah, most likely it would have, yeah.
All right, so getting into the tie in 6th place on 24 points, Beth, and what do you think it's tied with? Any guesses? Any guesses? Well, you're not going to believe it. It actually tied with Going Blind. So
wow.
Ken,
You're
get us
kidding
started
me?
on both of those.
So Beth and Going Blind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, Beth is in the middle of my list. I think it's an obvious ballad. It has to be there. Not just for being, a nice, well-written, sung song. It's important to the history of Kiss, so it just need to be on there anyway. But I enjoy it. It's not my favorite ballad by them, of course, but I think it's the importance of it kind of moved it up in my list. That's the reason I chose that one. Now, Going Blind, which to me is the number one ballad.
That's your number one Kiss ballad.
That's a number one Kiss ballad.
Going Blind from Unplugged is my
Unplugged.
number one ballad. Yes, I love that song. I mean, I like
a song a geriatric is singing to a 16-year-old is your number one Kiss ballad.
Absolutely,
it's a metaphor, Lonnie. Come on, it's a metaphor.
On now. Yeah. Good going for that old guy. Anyway,
lucky bastard. Yeah.
Lucky bastard.
We all should be so lucky.
All right, Going Blind. I'm off.
Dragwing's on your side, definitely.
Sorry, Ken, I got off track.
All right, Going Blind now. I think the Hotter Than Hell version is more of a power. I would call it ballad, anything. But what really made the song great to me is it should be more acoustic, and that's why Unplugged is the absolute version that the go-to version. And I just love it. I love that song. Every time I hear it, it's fantastic. So that's why it's number one on my list.
All right. In between the drilling, Mark, you also have both Going Blind and Beth. How about some more love for Ezrin?
Well, Beth came in 9th on my list. It's never been a song that I loved, obviously, but it is a ballad, obviously. And it's, for all the things that we kind of categorize ballads, it falls into that place pretty solidly. But I'm just so tired of that song. I mean, I'm surprised it even made it on my list, to be honest. But it's number 9. It's okay. Going Blind came in number 7 for me. I mean, while I think of it, I can understand it. I understood it more as a ballad in the unplugged form, right? When you listen to it on Hotter Than Hell, it comes across borderline ballad on that, but on the unplugged, you can understand where the balladness could come from. And I definitely like it better than Beth. I'll go that far to say that, but it's far and away from my top 5 for sure.
Did you cover Going Blind?
Yeah, that's what I just said about that one.
Oh, sorry. Again, I've got drilling, so keeping track. Lonnie, you only had one of these, and that was Beth.
Yeah, I had Beth pretty high. I had Beth at number 3. I think it's good, and it's important for Kiss, and in my opinion, it's a good song. So I had it ranked pretty high. Going Blind, I didn't have it. I liked Going Blind, but I don't know. I'm surprised. It's not.
It is about love, Lonnie. It
is. It does mean okay. Fair enough. But
I think Lonnie's Going Blind, actually.
Maybe. I just didn't have it on my list. It just didn't. It's a good song. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't like it ballady, but Ken does. More power to him. It's that unplugged version. It's that unplugged version that did it for Ken.
Yeah, loopholes.
Certainly had a proclivity for 16-year-olds. So 93, 16, and Christine 16. Yeah, I only went with Beth, and Beth is high up on my list just because of its importance to Kiss in general. I mean, it's number 2 on my list because it's really gorgeous. It's got all that emotion. And it's so important, and I'm Team Green all the way when it comes to that. Going Blind Now that doesn't make my list. I didn't even think about it, but
Neither.
the unplugged version, when it's stripped back to just that kind of emotion and sensitivity, yeah, it's a good pick, guys. Daniel, you didn't have either. Tell us why.
Yes, I did. I had one of them. If you look at the top of my list, at the very top, you'll see.
Oh yeah, I missed it. Sorry, you did have one.
Yeah. So I didn't have Beth. Even though it's important, as a lot of you guys mentioned to me, it doesn't make the cut. Probably because I'm so tired of it. I think it's a silly lyric. I think it doesn't fit the way it sounds. I mean, a guy rehearsing and not wanting to go home, combined with all those violins that you guys seem to love. Your favorite record must be that symphony that Kiss released in 2003 or 4, whenever it was. It's full of strings, so go and listen to that. Actually, the best version of Beth is on Peter Criss's album from '94, where they have stripped it down. That's a really good version of that song. But my number one pick, much as the Voice of Reason had picked, is Going Blind. That's my number one pick. When I'm trying to impress a girl with a Kiss song and I have an acoustic guitar, this is the song I go for. I mean, it's the coolest ballad Kiss ever did. And I didn't think of, this version. Was it the original version, or was it the unplugged version? To me, it just stuck out as the best ballad ever with Kiss. And I guess, once again, I'm in love with Gene's bass line in this song. It's so cool. One of my favorite riffs from Kiss, even though it's on bass. If you think of the 9316 thing there as a metaphor, you can get over that, but you can't take it. It's not real, and it's an elderly guy that falls in love with a girl that's a bit too young, maybe not 16, maybe, but a few years older. But the version I liked the most, and the one that got me hooked on the song, was that one that they did live on MTV in '94, and it was only Gene with a
and Paul.
Bad bass guitar and Paul playing it, and it's a great version. If you guys out there haven't seen that one, go and check out. I think the program was called Most Wanted, with a British guy leading it, Ray Coke or whatever he was called. He was a cool guy, but that's my favorite version, and the unplugged one is, of course, extremely good as well. But Going Blind was the first song I thought of when we talked about Kiss ballads.
Okay.
You're right, Daniel. You're right.
Everyone's right.
You're right as well, Ken. No,
know.
only we.
Wow.
You're right. Yeah.
All right, so moving on into fourth place, another tie. But each one of these at least got 4 picks from everyone. So tied on 26 points, I Still Love You and Reason to Live.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. So Mark,
I Still Love You.
I Still Love You.
Oh,
Mark, get us started,
okay.
because one of these is your top pick.
Yeah, I Still Love You is hands down the best one. I don't know what Daniel's talking about. Going Blind being the number one ballad. That's insanity talk in my honest opinion. I Still Love You is the absolute blueprint of the power ballad. And if you don't agree with that, then you have no idea what a power ballad is, Ken. Too many 70s records there in your collection. You need to listen to something a little newer there, because that's what the power ballad was structured around. Is that
maybe
kind
a
of
power
stuff.
ballad, but it's not a good one.
It's a great one. It's fantastic. It goes great electrically. It goes great acoustically. It is great, and probably has one of his better vocal deliveries that he's done on a record. Period. I mean, I've heard that said numerous times, even on this podcast, by people saying that they think that the one that he did on Unplugged was brilliant for this. So I've always thought that this was the best example of a power ballad, at least for sure, the power ballad. Maybe not a ballad, like it's not all lovey-dovey and stuff like that, but for sure, I think this is the best one in the bunch. Now, Reason to Live, that was my number 5. Okay, so I think that falls more into the syrupy end of things, with the whole Reason to Live kind of chorus to it. But it's very polished. It's very gunning for, the top 5 on MTV and stuff like that kind of approach. Has the video with the car exploding, the typical sort of shenanigans that happens in those sort of ballady videos. And again, it was one of those songs that was released probably second, if not third for sure, on the singles list there from their album. But these two things are perfect examples of each end of the spectrum. The one real great power ballad, and Reason to Live being a little bit more of a sappy, polished, overproduced sort of ballad. So both of them, I think, are strong for their own reasons.
Ken, only one of these made your list.
Yeah, what was the other one?
Reason to Live and I Still Love You.
Reason to Love. Yeah, Reason to Live, I think, is a great kind of a power ballad. Love that song. Great. It should have been a hit, big hit, but hey, it wasn't. But I think it's just a perfect song. So that's that. I Still Love You. It may be a ballad, but man, that's the worst song on Creatures. I mean, it brought Creatures down, in my opinion. I'd never really, ever since the beginning, that's the one song I just thought did not fit on Creatures. And it's really, like one person said in the comments, that it's a very plotting kind of song. It's just I don't know what it is. I Still Love You. What song is like a million times better? Still Love You is Still Loving You by the Scorpions. It's like kills that song by a million times. Still Loving You.
That's syrup right there.
Good. That's a great song by the Scorpions.
That is total cheese.
That's how it should be done. But this song, I don't know. I just never. This is the only song I will skip if I play Creatures. It's truly, it just doesn't do anything for me. Sorry, Mark.
Well, there we go. Daniel, you and Mark both, you and Lonnie both ranked yours exactly the same for both of these. Get us started on why.
Okay, I had I Still Love You in 7th place. Of course, great vocals from Paul, both on the original version and on Unplugged, of course. However, I have to agree that it's kind of plotting. If I'm listening to Creatures, I might hit the skip button when I come to this song, much as Ken said. But you can't deny the power of Paul Stanley's voice. You can't deny the way he's played. It's a beautiful solo as well. So it's perfectly crafted. But somehow it doesn't really do it for me. But I can understand that people truly love this song. It's much like Nothing Else Matters on Metallica's album. It's a great song, beautiful message, but it's the one I skip as well because it's kind of, it doesn't fit the album, much like Ken said about this one when it comes to Creatures. The other one was Reason to Live. Yeah, perfect 80s ballad. I mean, once again, great vocals from Paul. I love Bruce Kulick's soul on this one as well. I kind of like the video as well, even though when they're torching the car, it doesn't really look that good. It's like you've stolen a car from the 10-year-old next door and put it on fire. It looks pretty bad. But other than that, I like the video as well. And back in the day when I heard it, I liked it, and I still like it to this day. I think it's a beautiful song and not too syrupy, and it has a drive. It's not plotting. So Reason to Live, I Still Love You. Well, they're kind of neck to neck, kind of a tie for me, but for different reasons.
Lonnie.
Yeah, I enjoy I Still Love You. It's a good song, but I agree that it is plotting, especially on the studio version, as opposed to I think it's better on Unplugged. But I think on Creatures it is a bit plotting and a bit long, and just seems to go on just a little bit too long. But it's a good song, and like you guys are saying, I understand why people love it. Reason to Live, yeah, you couldn't get more of a like portrait of what an 80s ballad or an 80s power ballad is supposed to be. Reason to Live is like fits that mold to a T. Paul's voice is Paul's vocal is incredible. Group versus solo is great. It's it has the keyboards in it. It's just like everything an 80s power ballad is supposed to be. It is the template for it. So and I enjoy it too. Just not as much as maybe some other Kiss ballads. That's why they're 7 and 8 on my list.
Reason to Live was always a high point for me on the Crazy Nights album, and from the first time I heard it and saw the video, always loved it. But I Still Love You, oh my God, unplugged again, the definitive live version, because some of those electric live versions from the '83 tour were really torturous, like the banging in the background here. So yeah, the plotting's a good word for it, but on Unplugged, it's just superlative. 3 of the last 4 songs were unanimous picks. So in second place, 35 points, clear. Only just losing out to the winner is Forever. Ken, get us started on the Michael Bolton co-write.
Yeah, Forever. I almost forgot about Forever, and then I updated my list and put it in. I think it's another great, well-written ballad song that they did. The song that saved, Hot in the Shade, that album, and made the tour happen, basically, for Hot in the Shade, and that all did, went over well. Yeah, I think it's well produced. Out of all the songs, that's probably has the best production, right, on Hot in the Shade. I think it does. I think they put more effort into that one. So really, really good song. The acoustic part of it, the acoustic songs, the drums, everything. I mean, yeah, the video's very cool too. Different kind of side of Kiss that you kind of see there, which I really, enjoyed. So really good song. It's number 7 on my list, but I really love it.
Lonnie.
Yep, I had Forever ranked number 2. It's great song. It's very emotional. Bruce's solo on it is great as well. Paul's vocals are great. I'm surprised it's not number 1, to be honest. I thought this one would top out at number 1. It's so good. It's and we've talked about that. It is so good that it, we were all surprised that it wasn't on MTV Unplugged. It would have fit perfectly in there. But it's great. It sparked a lot of things for the band in '89 with Hot in the Shade, and it's what's not to like about that song. I mean, somebody mentioned Unplugged was meant for weddings in the chat here, and I know a lot of Kiss fans and Kiss friends that have had Forever as their first dance song, because it is so emotional and such a great song that you could even convince your bride that this should be our first dance song.
It's a Kiss song,
right? So it, if you're able to convince your bride that this should be our first dance song, they must be doing something right with this song. It's great.
You're muted,
Julian's pulling.
Bad boy.
I was just saying, me too, Max. Mark, you also ranked it highly.
Yeah, number 2. I've always loved Forever. I thought it's a great song. The video I thought was interesting with that sort of sepia look on the whole video. I thought it was interesting how it looked like that. And I like the way they kind of did the, going around the room sort of camera work. You got to see Eric Carr behind his kid a little bit there playing. It was good. It had overall had a great feel to it. The message is very strong in there. I mean, there's nothing about this song that I can make any negative comment about. Love the solo that Bruce did on there. The only thing I'd love to hear one day, maybe they'll do this down the road somewhere, is I wonder if they still have somewhere in the archive the electric solo he did before they changed it. Would have loved to hear what he did for that. But other than that, I think the song is next to perfect. And yeah, I'm actually, like Lonnie, surprised it wasn't number 1.
Daniel.
If you love ballads, if you're making playlists just with ballads, this must be one of your absolute favorite songs of all time, because it checks all the boxes when it comes to a power ballad. It's the perfect power ballad. But for me, ultimately, it lacks a bit of, I want a little bit of more punch in the ballad. You can still have a punch in the ballad, which we will see with number 1 later on. It's a bit too syrupy for my taste, but I had it as number 3 because it checks all the boxes. As I said, it's perfectly performed power ballad, from the vocals to the guitars to the solo. I even like Eric Carr on the drums. He's kind of rocking it up a little bit with the drumming.
Yeah.
I like how he played the drums on this one. So what a cool and great song. But we all know Michael Bolton wrote it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's
did
on
he?
my list because it has to be, because
written,
that
yeah,
music,
yeah.
The music video, just really perfect music video treatment for that song, reinforces the emotion of the whole thing, and everything everyone else has already said. It just covers it for me. Ken, you ranked it the lowest of us.
What, Forever? I already talked about it.
Hey. Oh, you did? Well, then
Yeah.
let's move on to number 1. And as already has been foreshadowed by Max, is only just winning, if there's a winner, and we'll use a Paul Stanley quote for that, 1,000,000-1, 36 points, just squeaks in as the winner of this, because Mark made it his number 1. Oh, wait, no. 1,000,000-1. Was it anyone's number 1?
Not
It
one.
wasn't. Daniel had a number 2, so
Yeah,
Daniel
4.
ranked it the higher. So Daniel, get started.
Yeah, number 2 compared to Forever. This is, sort of a grittier ballad. It's still a ballad, but you get the I think is it Vinnie Vincent on lead guitar on this one? Even though I love the soul on this one, I think it's Vinnie.
Yeah, Vinny.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Vinny.
Yeah. So I love Vinny, someone reining in Vinny a little bit so his magic can happen. We all know what happened when he was the boss himself. It went completely, downhill. But this is perfect, Vinny. A mean guitar solo in a ballad. I love it. I love Paul Stanley's vocals. He's really belting it out. Once again, the message is great. Sort of trying to someone has ended a relationship, but you still try to maintain that you're the best. You don't know what you're missing out on. I'm the one. I like that one. So you can still move on from that relationship and feel strong. Great song from a great album. Lick It Up.
Mark, you had this in 3rd place, so the second highest. Tell us why.
Oh, I've always loved this song. I always thought this was brilliant. When I was first doing the list, I was still kind of battling with how I wanted to approach the ballad. Was it more, laid back? Was it more, do I accept the sort of power ballad approach? In any case, I love this song too much to not put it on here. So I put it on here because I love it. I think it has all the elements of a strong power ballad. The message is there, the sort of melody that's important, that strong chorus in here. Again, this is Paul's element. This is his playground that he always does very well in, vocally. So I really love it. And again, I think Daniel made a good point that the solos and all the melodies in here are fantastic, and shows how good Vinny can be a lead player if he has the proper guidance to steer his playing. Once that happens, and the man can do anything and can make the song that much better. So I totally agree with Daniel about that. And I think that the only mistake with this is that they didn't make a video for it. That would have been great if they made a video for this song to put out as well. We had the 2 sort of, post-nuclear Holocaust videos that they did for the other 2 songs. But for this one, they could have done something interesting too, I'm pretty sure. So I love this song. So there's no objection for me at all on this song.
All right, Ken, it was your 4th pick.
Yeah, I always love the song. It is borderline, it's power ballad. That's how I, think of it. But it was like, is this really a power ballad? It is, it's whatever we interpret, I guess. So yeah, I put it on my list as number 4. I love the song from day one. Just well written, well sung, well performed all around. And this is the type of kind of power ballad that doesn't it didn't bring down the album like another song I mentioned earlier to me, which I'll never skip this one. It's just a fantastic song.
Lonnie, you had it middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think it's a great song, though. I had it middle of the pack, but it is a great power ballad. It's, again, a template for what a power ballad should be. It's, it's very, very 80s, that it's kind of, just kind of drives it home, and it's good. I agree with someone in the chat that talked about Million to One on the Live to Win tour. Finally got some live treatment and sounded great. And it's kind of a shame. It is such a good song. It's kind of a shame that Kiss didn't give it any kind of live treatment, because it definitely deserved it. It's a very good song. So I ranked it middle of the pack, but I have no issue with it being the consensus number one, because it's very, very strong song. Enjoy it a whole lot.
Yeah, end of the day, I had it in 4th spot, and I Still Love You from Unplugged just pipped it this time. But if I was going studio versions, it would have ranked above that. It's just that the Unplugged version of I Still Love You was enough to bump this one down. It's glorious. I love this. Everything about this song. Always did from the first time I heard it. It's a worthy winner as far as I'm concerned for this. But there's been a whole bunch of really good picks throughout this. So just recapping everything before the hammering gets worse. 11th spot, I Will Be There. 10th, A World Without Heroes. 9th, Sure Know Something. 8th, Every Time I Look at You. 7th, Hard Luck Woman. 6th, Beth ties with Going Blind. 4th, I Still Love You ties with A Reason to Live. And in 2nd spot, Forever and A Million to One. I see we have a lot of disagreements in our audience, and we have a lot of variety between our own picks. A lot of different opinions on what is a ballad, what is a power ballad, what fits. And I just say this: to each their own. As long as you're listening to Kiss, that's all that really matters in this equation. So whether you don't think these are ballads or some aren't, doesn't matter. Hell, there's even songs that some of us hate in this list, right, Mark? That added some spice to the conversation. All right, that's it for this week. That is the greatest Kiss ballad. I'm surprised actually by that result. But take it. I just had images of Velvet Bomb Ragnar pop into my head. You want a ballad? I'll give you a ballad. All right, there we go. I want to thank everyone who's chimed in today with comments throughout this episode. Awesome contributions, really help make the topic more fun to discuss as we go throughout. If you're catching up afterwards, leave your thoughts in the chat wherever you listen to the show. Don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe so you don't miss videos like Ken's Vinyl Minutes or other content that's posted regularly on this channel. But for now, from Daniel, from Mark, from Ken, from Lonnie, and myself, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the message board and discuss the topics we've broadcast today. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you've listened to this show, and a like would very much be appreciated. We hope you'll join us again, but until then, remember, life's a radio. Turn it up to 10.